Hello everyone, hoping everything goes well with all of you guys. A few weeks ago, some of you guys shared some insightful thoughts about phones and technology. Today, we're gonna talk a bit more about it. Nowadays, college students are used to getting the assignments and completing them on digital devices. But what if the takers are primary and middle school students? Should we teachers or future teachers in primary and secondary schools assign homework on mobile phones under normal circumstances in China? As mobile internet booms, phones have become an extension of our daily activities, including school assignments. In China, it goes viral that teachers are now dumping homework into WeChat, QQ, and other learning apps instead of announcing homework in class or handing out the notices to students in person. It has been aroused a great deal of attention in society and also triggers a heated discussion. Ideas vary from person to person. Some claim that it is quite convenient for parents to get informed of their children's homework and also urge them to finish it timely, while others hold the opposite opinion. They think teachers should not give homework on mobile phones because of its own flaws. In our view, however, to most degree, it is much better to quit assigning homework on mobile phones. Currently, in China, the traditional paper and pencil homework is still the mainstream. We only support it if mobile phones are required as necessary tools to do the homework, like filming videos, doing listening exercises, and so on. Indeed, such homework must be completed with the help of mobile phones. But we oppose it if teachers just announce homework on mobile phones or assign online homework. During my school life experience, homework is never absent from any courses, and the traditional paper and pencil homework prevails in primary and secondary school. According to Berlam and his colleagues, 2000, teachers giving online homework may limit the connection between teachers and students. According to the paper and pencil homework, teachers could get a general idea of how students do their homework based on their handwriting or neatness. Whether the students are putting forth their best to finish their homework, or they are just rushing to finish it. Or even some experienced teachers sometimes may tell the students' emotions and get to know something about how they finish their homework only with a glance when they submit assignments.
So now let's take a look on what impact it may have when teachers assign homework on specific apps. Let's look at negative impacts on students first. As we all know, teachers may use digital multimedia devices like smartphones and tablet computers to engage and instruct students innovatively. New research suggests that exposing young children to so many digital gadgets at such a young age might cause developmental issues. Firstly, doing homework on digital devices like mobile phones can harm students' developing vision and pose multiple health risks in the long run. Eyes work a lot harder when we look at something close than something far away. When we stare at electronic screens for long periods, our eyes are continually striving to focus on the images or text on the screen, which can leave us feeling exhausted and drained. Long term, what will happen? Children who spend too much time, typically more than 3 hours a day, are more likely to have the following eye problems. One of the most common side effects of using digital devices for a long time is digital eye strain. It combines eye and non-ocular symptoms, including fluctuating vision, double vision, difficulty focusing, eye strain, tearing, etc. If you stare too close at screens, this can happen, especially in the wrong postures or lighting. Myopia or nearsightedness causes difficulty viewing distant objects is another possibility. You are all familiar with this, right? A study released in 2020 by a group of Spanish academics, the relationship between screen and outdoor time with rates of myopia in Spanish children demonstrates that children with myopia have more screen time use and shorter outdoor activity time than those without myopia. In other words, the increased time spent on near activities and using digital devices was associated with higher myopia rates in Spanish children. Also, if a child spends much time looking at digital screens, he can have other health problems. It can make it harder to get a good night's sleep, hurt your brain, make you more likely to be overweight, and hurt your neck, back, and shoulder from hunching over to look at small screens and read small text. Besides, blue light absorbed over a long period is linked to age-related macular degeneration, which is becoming more prevalent later. Because excessive screen time may harm teenagers' physical outcomes, several experts recommend that school-going children limit their screen time to no more than 2 hours per day, and students should not use mobile phones or computers for more than 4 hours continuously in a day. These suggestions may be difficult for Chinese students to follow, especially given how frequently schoolwork requires screen time, so when most of it can be completed using paper and pencil. According to a report by a Chinese online education institution in 2015, students in China's primary and secondary schools spend an average of 3 hours per day poring over homework assignments, twice the global average. So, given that Chinese students must spend a significant amount of time on homework, their screen time will surely increase if they are required to perform tasks online. Don't forget that some recreational activities, such as watching TV and playing computer games, can increase screen time too. As a result, the total screen time will be far longer than experts recommend. Secondly, doing schoolwork on digital devices, such as mobile phones, may affect students' psychological and academic outcomes. Some people will wonder about how the two things work together inside. Let me make it clear. Today, technology is at its most advanced point. For example, mobile apps that help students with their homework have sprung up from the ground. These apps can help students with their homework for free. They are customer-friendly. When the student has entered the question in the search box, the standard answer will appear. Honestly, they are very convenient, efficient, and effective. Students do not have to think for themselves. They can look up the proper answers directly on their phones by searching and locating them. In this way, students can finish their task quickly and accurately. What a temptation for students! However, if they keep going, they will become dependent on their phones, stop thinking and being lazy. Then, bad study habits develop, which will affect their academic achievement and the development of creative thinking and critical thinking. Another reason why it is not suggested for youngsters to conduct their homework or study on the phone is that it is challenging for children to focus when holding mobile phones. Many youngsters and teenagers would argue that they only use their phones to accomplish homework provided by their teachers on the specific apps and will not move to other homework unrelated apps. However, an interesting study was undertaken by a psychology professor at California State University. Dr. Larry Rosen used this study to watch pupils study for 15 minutes, finding that students lost focus after a maximum of 3 minutes. The pupils were preoccupied with their phones. Their attention was diverted as they alternated between checking social media and responding. He concluded that they were all suffering from continuous partial attention. That is due to their fragmented attention as they switch between multiple applications, such as online homework doing apps, social apps, and gaming apps, the latter of which may be quite addicting. Furthermore, the use of mobile phones for daily writing assignments most likely contributes to children's difficulty writing Chinese characters. Recently, some teachers have noticed that many kids in elementary schools do not sit properly, do not hold their pencils appropriately, and have difficulties remembering how to write Chinese characters or write wrong Chinese characters. They claim that these symptoms are caused by excessive use of technological devices. The situation will only worsen if homework is transferred to mobile phones. According to experts, handwriting significantly impacts children's characters and aesthetic skills. Thus, the practice of assigning traditional paper and pencil homework should continue and never be changed. From what I mentioned above, we can see how expecting students to do their homework on mobile phones will cause a host of problems for them. They may develop eye illnesses such as digital eye strain and myopia. They may develop other health issues such as obesity risks and muscle discomfort. They may develop bad study habits. They may have trouble concentrating and writing Chinese characters. Therefore, teachers should avoid requiring students to do assignments on mobile phones.
Apart from the negative effects on students, there are also some negative impacts on parents or caregivers. According to a report by a Chinese online education institution, more than 80% of parents said the online homework makes them feel exhausted. Actually, in China, most parents are too tired or busy with their own work. It is hard for them to take the time needed to get involved in their children's homework. Because teachers assign online homework, students need to use their parents' cell phones to do it. if their parents work overtime and couldn't get back home on time. They cannot finish their homework until their parents come back. Sometimes students are required to film videos. At that moment, parents have to help their kids to finish it, even though they are tired after completing their own job and housework. It is so hard for parents, let alone grandparents, especially those in rural areas. Most of them don't know how to use the apps or even don't know how to use mobile phones. It is a real heavy burden. Also, because of online homework, parents are worried whether their kids consciously focus on their homework or they are just focused on the entertainment apps. Worries about addiction to cell phones and the internet also arise among the online homework. Here are two comments about banning assigning homework on mobile phones. One from a parent said, I have much complex work to do it. Money and children's future both important. But a lot of homework back to parents. Why and what need teachers? The other from a famous blogger. He said, homework is assigned to students rather than parents or caregivers. The examples presented reveals that it is more of a burden than a relief for parents or caregivers. So, from where we stand, teachers assigning online homework causes multiple negative effects on students and parents or caregivers. We think teachers assigning online homework should be quitted.
Just now, we talked about considerations for students and parents while using apps to do specific homework. Well, someone may argue that teachers could still use phones for delivering homework and instructions, since it's just so convenient to use WeChat or QQ, just send the homework in the chat so that everyone, including parents, can see. No worries on someone may forget to write them down, and it's easy for parents to check whether their kids are finished or not. However, these arguments may not notice that similar to using apps for doing homework, assigning homework on phones can also cause trouble, owing to the convenience. As for students, using phone to check homework makes them rely on these electronic devices easily. You see, everyone know that, okay, teacher's gonna send the homework later on WeChat. So there is totally no need to remember to write them down in class, right? All we need to do is to ask parents, hey mom, I need to check what's my homework for today. So that may gradually reduce children's independence or sense of responsibility because we always have someone to go to, right? Here is an interview from Hunan Daily. The parenthood preference for traditional Blackboard assignment, since it gives children a sense of this is my homework tasks, through writing down the homework from the Blackboard by themselves, so they will no longer rely on their cell phones or their parents. And as for parents, this may also cause trouble. There is another phenomenon that teachers sent the homework in the chat, but kids didn't finish on time. And parents were blamed for not supervising children to complete their homework on time. This creates huge pressure on parents since they are forced in somehow, even though it should be children's duty to finish their own work on time. Just like the report says, this lady needs to shuttle in class QQ group, WeChat group, homeschool platform to receive homework on various mobile apps. Today, the teacher may send the homework on QQ, tomorrow maybe in WeChat group, We are really afraid of missing these links and criticized by teacher that our kids didn't finish them on time. So that's maybe why our government also published a notice a few months ago, clearly informed that no cell phones may be used to assign homework or require students to use phones to complete homework. In conclusion, again, we as teachers or future teachers, in most occasions, should not use cell phones no matter to assign or ask them to complete homework on specific apps. If we ask them to do online homework, firstly, it's bad for their physical health, since it may cause nearsighted or other health problems. Secondly, it's bad for their psychological health and academic performance. Students might still develop bad study habits owing to the convenience of searching the answers on the internet. And social media may easily distract them from what they should do. Finally, get used to typing on keyboards at an early age could still be a problem for their handwriting as well. For parents, it could also be troublesome for them to learn using new apps, investing lots of time and effort. It should be children's homework, not parents' homework, right? And if we assign the homework through WeChat or QQs, it's still bad for students learning independence, since it's just too convenient for students to go and check, easily rely on the electronic devices. Also, parents feel lots of pressure monitoring the kids, pushing them to finish their work on time to avoid criticism from teachers. But as we mentioned before, this conclusion has a big prerequisite in most occasions. We cannot ignore that, for example, during this pandemic, it's almost impossible to avoid using electronic devices to contact with students and parents or assign the homework. Also, for younger elementary school students, they may have not learned how to read and write, so we could use WeChat group as a tool to send homework to parents. Sending assignments using WeChat could be a short transition period, and when the kids grow up, we should still guide them to be responsible for their own work. So here comes to the end of our speech. There is no denying that technology is changing the face and expression of education. Personal digital devices have unavoidably found their way from students' homes to their classrooms. But we, as teachers or future teachers, I believe our role as a school teacher is to develop and maintain a secure, healthy, and caring environment with high standards and adequate guidance for all kids. Make sure that our kids will be beneficial from technology, not suffered from negative impact inadvertently. Together, let's create a fresh environment for our students. Together, let's bring our students a brighter future. Thanks for listening.